Unit 3, Lesson 1, Activity 3.
1. In 1885, Carl Benz built the first car. 2. In 1876, Alexander Graham Bell made the first phone call. 3. In 1961, Yuri Gagarin was the first person to travel in space. 4. In 1979, Akio Morita invented the Walkman. 5. In 1939, Igor Sikorsky built the first helicopter. 6. In 1895, the Lumiere brothers showed the first films. 7. In 1938, Laszlo Biro designed the first ballpoint pen. 8. In 1826, Joseph Niepce took the first photograph. 9. In 1475, William Caxton printed the first book in English.
Unit 3, Lesson 1, Activity 4.
Mastura Ardalan was born in Senna in northwestern Iran in 1805. Her father helped her study Kurdish, Arabic and Persian. She became a famous poet and writer. She was the first woman to write about the history of the Middle East. She married, and she and her family moved to Sulaimani in Kurdistan. She died in 1848. On December the 18th, 2005, the Kurdish people put up a statue of Mastura in Erbil. This was the 200th anniversary of her birth.
Unit 3, Lesson 1, Activity 5.
Designed, described, destroyed, showed. Crossed, escaped, reached, walked. Carried, invented, printed, studied.
Unit 3, Lesson 2. Unit 3, Lesson 2, Activity 2. The group meet for a picnic lunch in a park.
Hi guys! Did you have fun this morning?
Yes, we did. It was brilliant. First, we went to the Globe Theatre.
And we saw a great exhibition about the theatre in Shakespeare's time.
And then we walked across the river to St Paul's Cathedral. We spent an hour there.
Oh, did you climb up to the Whispering Gallery?
No, we didn't. But we climbed to the top of the monument.
Carol didn't. She was really lazy.
I wasn't lazy. I was thirsty. I sat outside and had a long cold drink, and the others were exhausted when they came down.
Well, there were hundreds of steps.
And what did you do, Jack? Were you asleep all morning?
No, I wasn't.
Unit 3, Lesson 2, Activity 4.
And what about you, Jack? What did you do this morning?
OK, first I surfed the net. They've got really good computers at YTV. That was from 9 to 10 o'clock. Then I went to a record shop for an hour.
Oh, did you buy anything?
No, everything I liked was too expensive. Then I was really hot and tired, so at about 11 o'clock I stopped in a cafe and I had a huge ice cream.
And then?
And then I came to the park and just sat in the sun and waited for you.
Now that's what I call really lazy.
Unit 3, Lesson 2, Activity 5.
Architect. Exhibition. Gallery. Millennium. Monument. Original. Spectacular.
Unit 3, Lesson 3. Unit 3, Lesson 3, Activity 1. It's 2:30 p.m. and the group are on a Thames cruise.
The London Eye is the highest wheel in the world. It's 140 metres high.
That's terrific. I'd love to go for a ride.
Carlos, Rowand, let me take a picture of you. Smile!
Oh no! My cap! Ah!
Ben! Help!
We were passing the London Eye and suddenly Ben fell into the river.
But why? What was he doing?
I don't know. I wasn't looking at Ben.
What were you doing?
I was listening to Greg. He was telling us about the wheel.
And Lana was taking photos of me and Rowand.
And then what happened?
Greg threw Ben a lifebelt and pulled him out of the water.
Was Ben feeling all right?
Yes, he was. He was shivering, but he was laughing.
We were all laughing.
Unit 3, Lesson 3, Activity 4.
You know, my brother Tom fell overboard last year.
Really? What happened? What was he doing?
He was sailing with a friend off the coast of Australia. At first, it was a beautiful day and the sun was shining. But then the weather suddenly got worse and there was a terrible storm. They were sailing in a small boat and they knew it was very dangerous.
Yeah, sure.
So Tom called the emergency number on his mobile phone. They were sailing back when the boat hit a rock and they both fell into the sea.
Oh no!
And then the boat started to sink.
What happened?
A helicopter rescued them.
Were they both okay?
Yes, they were. It was a lucky escape. But my brother lost his mobile phone.
Unit 3, Lesson 4, Activity 4.
Charles Dickens. Charles Dickens was born on the 7th of February 1812 in Portsmouth, on the south coast of England. In 1823, the Dickens family moved to London, but his father lost his job, and the family had no money. Charles left school in 1824, and when he was only 12 years old, he started working in a factory. But things became easier. In 1833, Dickens started writing stories for newspapers, and in 1836 he wrote his first novel, The Pickwick Papers. In the same year, he married Catherine Hogarth, and they later had 10 children. Between 1836 and 1865, Dickens wrote 14 major novels, including Oliver Twist and David Copperfield. His novels were extremely successful, and he became the most popular writer in the country. He also wrote lots of stories, including A Christmas Carol. Dickens had enormous energy and worked extremely hard at everything he did. He died suddenly on the 9th of June 1870 at the age of 58. He was the most popular English writer of the 19th century. Today, 130 years later, his books are still bestsellers, and there are many films of his novels.
Unit 3, Review. Unit 3, Review, Activity 4.
8 a.m. What were you doing at 8 a.m.?
I was getting up.
9:30 a.m. What were you doing at 9:30 a.m.?
I was making phone calls.
10:30 a.m. What were you doing at 10:30 a.m.?
I was filming the group.
12:15 p.m. What were you doing at 12:15 p.m.?
I was having lunch.
1 p.m. What were you doing at 1 p.m.?
I was talking to Greg.